guys, this is Wild Square, Words of Wisdom from a Woman of Worth. This is video number 8. I can't believe it's video number 8. And today's Words of Wisdom actually comes from a life experience, more so than biblical. I try to do both, but today is mostly based upon experience. And it's 4 simple words: go where you grow. This can be applied to various aspects of your life. So after you hear what I have to say, I want you to kind of think about what it can be applied to. But I'm going to kind of hone in on 2 areas. And that is your place of worship, where you go to church, and your career/job. So go where you grow. Are you going where you're growing? And let me put a little disclaimer out there right now. What I'm sharing with you has nothing to do with the church that I attend currently. I do attend Bible Way Church of Atlas Road, where my pastor is the one and only Pastor Dale Jackson Sr. But what I'm sharing with you has nothing to do with my involvement in my church. And I'm just going to go ahead and shout them out since I mentioned them. If you don't have a church home, I invite you to come to my church on Sundays at 8 or 11 a.m. And the address is 2440 Atlas Road. That's in Columbia, South Carolina. If you can't be with us physically, that's my daughter in the background. If you can't be with us physically, you can log on and watch us live. And the address is www.bwcar.org. Okay, I wasn't planning to do that, but anyway. So go where you grow. And again, I'm going to hone in on your career, and hone in on your place of worship. And I'm going to use an example of a seed. A seed, in order for a seed to grow, it must have some essential things, and I'm going to call it the 5 essential things. It has to have sunlight, it has to have water, it has to have air, space, a place for it to grow, and some type of nutrient. If you just have a seed and it doesn't have any of those 5 essential things that I said, it is going to just lie dormant. It's not going to grow. But if you place that seed in the ground and it receives those 5 things, and it doesn't have to receive them every single day, but if it receives those 5 things, it begins to grow and it sprouts. But what happens after it sprouts and it's, let's just say, a small plant? If it's cut off and no longer receives those 5 things, it is going to die. So anything that's not growing is dead. Are you going where you're growing? Are you in a career, or do you have a job where you are at a place where you are no longer able to share with other people? You're no longer able to give advice to other people. Somebody once told me, it's okay to be content, but you should never be complacent. Meaning it's okay to be happy where you are, but you should always be striving to do better. You should always want to do more. And you can't allow yourself to be content for too long. You have to be able to recognize the season that you're in, because if you're content for too long, you're going to become stagnant. So just be careful. So with your job, this is how you know if you're growing. If you are advancing in your career, if you are able to lend a hand to those who are around you, just like a plant grows up and out. That's how you know it's growing. If you're not succeeding in those areas by growing up along what we call the chain of command in a career, if you're not growing, then why are you still going? Why are you still there? Some of you are fearful to leave a job because of the relationships that you have, or because it's comfortable. And I encourage you to ask yourself, am I growing where I'm going? If you're not, it's time for you to leave. And I'm not telling anybody to quit their job. Don't get me wrong. But if you're, again, not growing where you're going, then it's time for you to change. And as it relates to your place of worship, based upon experience, as I said, as a plant receives, or a seed receives those 5 things, it begins to grow, it begins to sprout. But you can get to a point where you're at a church where you're no longer growing. And how do you know that? Is because you're not bearing any fruit. And if some of you continue to go to a church because it's a family church, or because you grew up there and you, again, are comfortable and you know the people around you, but don't allow your loyalty to people to cause you to die spiritually. You need to ask yourself, am I going where I'm growing? And don't just go to a place, again, just because there are familiar faces there. You don't want to die spiritually just because you want to make somebody else happy. So that's my words of wisdom for you today. Are you growing where you're going? Ask yourself in your career, are you advancing? If not, it's time for you to step out. It's time for you to break out of that pot. You've grown as much as you can, and now it's time for you to be potted or planted somewhere else. And if it's relating to your place of worship, if you can sit there and you can recite pretty much the service from beginning to end, you're not growing. You're just there. Okay? So I encourage you today to ask yourself that question, and it can be related to not just your place of worship or where you work. It can be related to relationships. It can be related to activities that you're involved in. If you're not growing where you're going, it's time to change. So I pray and hope that this has blessed somebody, encouraged somebody, motivated somebody. And until next Wednesday, I will see you guys again. I'm going to try that Periscope. I haven't tried it yet, but eventually I'll do that. Take care. God bless. Hey everybody, while I was recording WOW, as you could see, my daughter kind of ran through the background, but she kind of sat and listened to my WOW video as I recorded it, and she was inspired, and she just wanted to share with you. It's no more than 60 seconds, literally, something. So just continue to watch the video and stay tuned as she shares with you what God put on her heart.
Hi, my name is Christiana Moore. I'm Jacqueline Jackson's daughter. I just wanted to share with you guys a little message that I came up that my mom inspired me to talk about. I just wanted to say that sometimes if you're not growing, it's not because of where you are. It's because of you. And maybe sometimes you need to change what you're doing. Maybe your study habits, your work habits. Maybe you need to pay more attention in church. Maybe you need to do more studying outside of church. Maybe you just need to have a talk with yourself and be honest and real with yourself. And maybe you'll find out that it's not where you are and the people that you're around, but it's you. And you're the reason why you're not growing. Not saying that that is the reason, but it's not always where you are, as in the actual place, but it could be where you are as in what you're doing. So I just wanted to share that with you. All right, God bless.